Okay, midterm review part 1, part 2 of the video. Going on to number 16. I did 16 because it was just different from all the rest and there was no other examples, so I wanted to get one of these, and where you write the word phrase for a given expression. So you're given the expression, but you have to come up with a word phrase. So here we have a number multiplied by 6 and added 7 to it. Now you could write exactly what I just said, or you could, write it this way. I kind of, wrote it backwards from what I said. 7 more than 6 times a number, just because it would sounds like what you've been doing on the previous page. So 7 more than, here's 7 more than 6 times a number. Here's 6 times a number. So you could write, 6 times a number plus 7. You could write it that way too, if you'd rather write it differently. Number 1, for simplifying, we're just combining like terms here. So I have a 3 with an x and I have a 5 with an x. They are like terms, so 3 plus 5 is 8. Very simple. Simplifying. I went over here to number 4 because I thought that, there was missing a number 2. So here we go. I have a negative 9 with an r and I have minus 3 with an r. So negative 9 minus 3 is negative 12r. Okay, I only have a 2w. I don't have anything else with a w, so I'm just going to bring that right on down. And then, and I like to do that because in the future you'll see that I like to list the constant with the variable first before I just write, a constant, a number that does not have a variable with it, because you'll see that's how it's just, written usually. So I do have these two numbers that don't have a variable with them, a 9 and a 6. I add those together. 9 plus 6 is going to be 15. Okay, I have an m cubed and an m cubed. These two are alike. I'm going to put these two together. So I have a negative 9 plus a 12. Negative 9 plus 12 is 3. In other words, 12 minus 9 is 3. M cubed, I have to put that little thing with it, that m, that cube with it, because that's what it's multiplied and cubed by. And then I have this plus 2 hanging around. Don't forget about that and list it right there. Number 9, I use the distributive property. I'm taking 5 times 2. 5 times 2 is 10x. And then I have 5 times a negative 4. 5 times negative 4 is a negative 20, or you could just think of it as minus 20. So 10x minus 20. All right, for the next section, solve each equation if the equation is an identity, or if the equation has no solution, right? Identity or no solution. Remember, identity is infinite solutions also. I don't know. I get my classes mixed up and who's calling what, but they're the same. Identity and infinite solutions would be the same. With no solution means that, there's no matter what number you would throw into that variable, it's never going to work, okay? It would never equal what it says it equals. Okay, so 17. Here we go. I'm going to subtract 8 from both sides. Let me write what I was thinking here. Okay, so in red, you have what I'm thinking and what I'm doing, so the steps. So I'm left with negative 3m over on this side, and a negative 8 and a 2 is a negative 6, or 2 minus 8, in other words, would be a negative 6. Then I'm going to divide both sides by negative 3. Divide by negative 3. These cancel out. And I'm left with negative 3 divided by negative 6 divided by negative 3 is 2. So m equals 2. This one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply all of this, this right here, this side, times 2, and this side times 2. When I multiply this times 2, that is, taking into consideration everything here, because this would be distributed in here. So I'm multiplying this by 2. That cancels this out. So I'm just left with the x minus 5. Okay, think about that. Half of this amount was 3. So doubling it would be the whole thing, so not half of it anymore, but the whole thing, x minus 5, is going to equal, double 3, which would be 6. That makes sense too, okay, when we do that. But that's a good way to get rid of this fraction. I mean, you could just, distribute it and have, half x minus 2.5, because half of 5 is 2.5. And you could work with that with the 3 and you'd get the same answer, okay? But, and let me show you that. That would be half x minus 2.5 equals 3. Okay, we could have just distributed that instead of doing this little trick. Okay. Doing the little trick, I add 5 to both sides. So when I added 5 here, I got rid of it. That's why I did it, because I want to get the x by itself. 6 plus 5 is 11. So this is my final answer. X equals 11. All right. Going back here, this would have been if I added 2.5 to both sides. 2.5, cross that out, half x equals 3, 4, 5, 5.5. I multiply by 2 both sides, x equals 11. So you get the same answer, okay? But doing all this with points, decimals, and fractions could get a little bit ugly. So that's why I did that little trick. Okay, number 21. There's a lot to number 21, and let's get to it. I'm using the distributive property. So I have 5 times 2, and I have 5 times a negative 5. So 5 times 2 is 10. There's an x with it. 5 times a negative 5 is a negative 25, and I just bring this down, this down, this down, this down, because I did not deal with those yet. I need to deal with them in the future. I combine like terms. 10x plus 2x is 12x. I still have this negative 25 I have to deal with, this equals, and this negative 1. And I think, too, you usually have the wall, you're drawing the wall. That's fine. I'm showing you a different way. Hopefully it's helpful, and hopefully it's not confusing. Then I'm going to add 25 to both sides, because I want to get rid of this negative 25. So I add 25 to both sides. That's how I get rid of it, doing the opposite of it. So 25 minus 1 is 24. And then I divide both sides by the 12, because I'm getting that x by itself. That's why I'm doing it, because I want to know what x equals. 24 divided by 12 is 2. Not much space there. Probably notebook paper would have been better for me. So right here, I'm adding 10 for this one. That gets rid of it on this side. And then I'm dividing by 4. That gets rid of it on this side. And I divide both sides by 4. 28 divided by 4 is 7. 25. Okay, I subtracted 4 from both sides. 6 minus 4 is 2. I divide both sides by negative 2. Let's cancel out. I get negative 1 equals x. 27. I have plus 4. Because I had the 10 minus 6. I just combined like terms this first time around. And then I'm going to subtract 4 from both sides. 28 minus 4 is 24. I'm going to divide both sides by 4. Get x equals 24 divided by 4 is 6. This one, I combine like terms. Negative 4x and 2x is going to be negative 2x. And I bring this down, bring this down, bring this down, because I have to deal with them later. I'm going to deal with this right now. I'm going to subtract 3 from both sides. And then I'm going to divide by negative 2, divide by negative 2. And I get x equals negative 5. And number 31, I just do the distributive property. 3 times x is 3x, and 3 times a positive 6 is a positive 18. Notice that's what's on this side. So no matter what I put in here, it's going to equal the mirror of that problem. It's going to be the same. So no matter what number I put in here, that's going to be identity. Infinite solutions. All right, let's get done with these. We have some word problems that we're going to translate into some equations here. It says half of your baseball card collection got wet and was ruined. You bought 19 cards to replace some that were lost. How many did you begin with if you now have 45? So half of them were ruined, and now you add 19 to it and you have 45. So I'm going to subtract 19 from both sides. And then I am going to multiply both sides by 2. And I get x equals 52. That's what I started out with, okay? Because then I lost half of them. I got my 26, and 26 plus 19, then that I added is the 45. It makes sense. Number 3, Deshaun's bike rents for, he rents bikes for $11 plus $5 per hour. Maria paid $51 to rent a bike. For how many hours did she rent the bike? Okay, so here's the $5 per hour. I put an H in there just to stand for hours, plus the $11 no matter what. And Maria paid 51 bucks. So if I subtract 11 from both sides, I get 5h equals 40. If I divide both sides by 5, I have h equals 8. So 40 divided by 5, I have 8. For number 5, the sum of 3 consecutive odd numbers is 87. What is the smallest of these numbers? So what's the smallest one? This is going to be the smallest one. So think of it, odd numbers. If this was like 1, 3, and 5, 3 is 2 more than 1, and 5 is 4 more than 1. You know, so any odd numbers, if they're consecutive, you know, it's going to be plus 2, plus 4, 2 more, 4 more. So I have this odd number plus this odd number plus this odd number. Don't know what they are. It's going to equal 87. So I just combine like terms, subtract 6 from both sides, divide both sides by 3. I get 27. And you could check it out. That's the smallest number is going to be 27. So it would be 27. Let's see if it equals 87. So 27 plus 29 plus 31. So this is plus 2, this is plus 4. What I started off with. And they equal 87. It works. Okay. For number 7, Kim sold half of her comic books and then bought 8 more. She now has 38. With how many did she begin? Okay, she sold half of them, so half of them plus the 8 now is going to equal 38. So I subtract 8 from both sides. I have 30. I multiply by 2 because this is half. Multiplying by 2, it would be like 2 over 1. They cancel out. And I get 30 times 2 is going to be 60. All right, hopefully this helps. Good luck on all the even ones. And like I said, if you're learning from your mistakes, if you make any mistakes, you're making progress. Good luck.